Forget everything you think you know about hiring, because the first person you bring onto your team will either be the foundation of your empire or the crack that brings the whole thing down. We have seen it happen both ways, and the difference almost never comes down to a resume. Most first-time founders and business owners make the same mistake. They hire for skill and fire for character. And by the time they figure that out, they have already lost 6 months and probably some money too. The irony is that the traits that actually predict long-term success are almost never listed on a job application. Let's start with the obvious one that everyone ignores: coachability. You can teach almost any skill, but you cannot teach someone to stop being defensive when you give them feedback, and that one flaw will poison your team faster than anything else. The second trait is ownership mentality, and we do not mean equity. We mean the person who says, "I will figure it out," instead of, "That is not my job." These are the people who treat your business like it is their business. And in the early days, that energy is absolutely everything. Third, look for curiosity, because the world is changing too fast for anyone to coast on what they already know. If someone is not genuinely asking questions in an interview, they probably stopped asking questions a long time ago. Fourth, and this one is underrated, watch how they handle ambiguity. Early stage companies are chaos wrapped in a spreadsheet, and the people who need perfect instructions before they can move will slow you down to a crawl. Fifth is consistency over intensity, because the person who shows up every single day at 80% will outperform the genius who shows up at 100% twice a month and disappears the rest of the time. Hiring rock stars sounds exciting until you realize rock stars trash hotel rooms. Sixth, pay attention to the relationship with failure, because everyone has failed at something, and what they say next tells you everything. If they cannot name a real mistake and what they learned from it, either they have not done much or they are not self-aware enough to notice. Seventh is communication. Not just whether they speak well in an interview, but whether they over-communicate or under-communicate when things get hard. Under-communicators hide problems until problems become crises, and crises in small businesses are very, very expensive. Eighth, look for alignment with your values, not your personality. Because you do not need a clone. You need someone who cares about the same outcomes even if they see the world differently than you do. Culture fit gets misused as an excuse to hire friends. But culture alignment is actually the thing that makes teams durable. Ninth is resourcefulness. The kind you can only spot by asking behavioral questions, like, tell me about a time you had almost nothing to work with and still made something happen. The people who light up at that question are the ones you want in the foxhole. 10th, and finally, look for someone with a long time horizon. Someone who is not just here for the paycheck or the resume line, but who actually wants to build something. You can feel the difference in how they ask questions about where the company is going versus where their next promotion lands. Now here is the practical part. Do not just run one interview. Put people in a real scenario. Give them a small paid project. See how they communicate when the stakes are low before you hand them the keys. The best hiring processes feel less like an audition and more like a short collaboration. We will leave you with this. Your first hires are not just employees. They are a bet on your own judgment. So be disciplined about the process. Do not rush because you are desperate, and remember that a slow hire and a fast fire is almost always better than the alternative. The size of your team does not matter nearly as much as the quality of the people in it. And if you are ready to take your next step, whether that means investing in real estate, tackling a contracting project, or finding the right lender to make it all happen, check out our links in the description below.